Good morning, Annie.
Hi.
Okay, so we're in the church. It's a little chilly.
We are.
And it is Friday, January the
20th. Happy birthday, Dad.
Oh, there we go.
How old would Dad be? He would have been 90. He was born in 1925, so he would have been 98.
Wow.
Wow.
And it was my sister's birthday yesterday. I'm not sharing her age because she'd probably be older than me. She's younger than I am, though. And she's not 98.
No.
But happy birthday to my sister as
There
well.
we go. Well,
So she's got a month of traveling, so I'm not sure where she is this week. So
well, I know where my dad is.
you today, actually.
I know, I'm not here.
I'm not here.
I'm really not. So today, the Friday, let's see, what would I be doing? I will be in moving hotels from downtown historic Quito, Ecuador, to the airport to meet our tour group, which there's already 5 of us traveling together, and then we're meeting, I think, either 10 or 15 others, and they are the ones that we're going to travel to the Galapagos Islands. So the afternoon we have our briefing and a dinner, and then we repack things into dry sacks to take on the little plane to go on the little boat to the Galapagos Islands, to Isabella Island.
Nice.
So that's what I'm doing today.
Where you're going to see?
Blue-footed boobies! We just like saying that. So it is Friday, January the 20th, and we are the Crumbs from the
Pop-Tarts. No, Friday comes from the Pop-Tarts, that's right. Oh, she's delirious. She's so happy.
Because I'm still packing in my brain. Anyway, today's reading is from the Psalms. And the Psalms are songs. We've said this before.
That's right.
And so when you read it, sometimes think of a tune that's in your head or a lilt or something that comes in. Because sometimes a lot of collaborators and authors of music use the Psalms because they just kind of rhyme, or they just have kind of a poetic meter to them.
It's poetry and prose, right?
So we have Psalm 86.
No, 85.
85, sorry. See, I don't even know what day it is. I lost my little piece of paper that told me what I was supposed to do. Psalm 85, and it's verses 7 to 13.
Right.
Okay, I knew that was right, but after that
So do you want to be odd and I'll be even?
I'm always odd,
okay.
So there we go. So, Psalm 85. Show us your steadfast love, O Lord, and grant us your salvation.
Let me hear what God the Lord will speak, for he will speak peace to his people, to his faithful, to those who turn to him in their hearts.
Surely his salvation is at hand for those who fear him, that his glory may dwell in our land.
Steadfast love and faithfulness will meet righteousness and peace. Oh, that's right. Sorry. Steadfast love and faithfulness will meet. Righteousness and peace will kiss each other.
Faithfulness will spring up from the ground, and righteousness will look down from the sky.
The Lord will give what is good, and our land will yield its increase.
Righteousness will go before him, and will make a path for his steps.
I love that psalm.
I love that psalm too.
And I love
I knew you.
line.
I know
righteousness and peace will kiss.
There it is.
each other.
I knew you were going to say that.
I just
well, let's
love
think
this.
about that. Let's think about that. Like,
because sometimes righteousness doesn't align with love, right?
No.
And yet righteousness and love will kiss each other.
But the line before that, steadfast love and faithfulness will meet. That means they probably don't get along so well.
Sometimes I think they don't. Or our interpretation of what righteousness is.
Right.
Because I think sometimes we think righteousness has to do with justice, which has to do with revenge or comeuppance, right?
Yeah, that's where
it's the comeuppance, right?
Yeah.
And so, but that's not true righteousness, right?
Yeah.
God's definition or life of righteousness is so different than our own definition of it.
And I think going into definitions, we've gotten away from what the real definitions are of faithfulness. What is love? I mean, love had a construct around it, and now we've kind of blown that open. So it's open. Faithfulness, there was faithfulness, and it usually was a place like this. But now we can be faithful to each other. We can be faithful to our God, but we don't necessarily need a place to do it in, right? We can meet wherever.
Oh, absolutely.
Because God is wherever. Righteousness, I think we've lost what that real meaning was because we have had either public figures or books or something that have taken that definition and it's been put up on a pedestal of somebody who's got power and might, and they are the righteous ones, and they're strong, and usually it's somebody that I think of like more military might.
Yes.
Which isn't what this is talking about.
No, it
at
doesn't
all.
It doesn't
right?
have personal. Righteousness does not have personal agenda.
Ooh, I like that.
Right?
Nice definition.
True righteousness does not have personal agenda.
Right.
And as humans who muddle along in life the best way we can,
Right.
can't remove ourselves from personal agenda. It just it seeps in. It's part of our DNA. Right?
It is. So when we think of that line that we like so much, righteousness and peace will kiss each other. I never thought of righteousness and peace being together. For some reason, I thought righteousness powerful. You're out there. You're marching. You're fighting for what you want. You know, like you're being relatively militant. But righteousness and peace.
But as a society, we glorify violence. We glorify power. We glorify aggression. Right? And that is how we, as humans, see righteousness being portrayed. And yet, that's not righteousness. Right? And so how could that definition of righteousness and peace kiss? Right? They can't. So our idea of what it means to be righteous and how we enforce that, and I think that even creates an oxymoron there, right? How do we enforce righteousness? But when we lean into the righteousness of God, so what is the righteousness of God? The righteousness of God is that we are equal, that we live in unity, that we live in peace. I think of Revelation. I always think of Revelation when I think about new beginnings, right? Where every tear is wiped away. Where there is no pain, there is no suffering, there is no hierarchy of one power greater than the other. I think of beautiful scripture that talks about the lion and the lamb lying down together, and the adder and the child playing.
Yeah, we read that not long ago.
Right. So that takes away all competition,
levels the playing field. Levels the playing field. And I think that's where reading on the next line, a couple of lines in, so verse 11 in Psalm 85, faithfulness will spring up from the ground and righteousness will look down from the sky. So they will meet and we will be enveloped in that.
And we're in that, it's that liminal space. Right? Liminal space between faithfulness, what is it? It's liminal space between faithfulness and righteousness. Because righteousness looks down and faithfulness will rise up. Righteousness is God's, again, initiating movement, and faithfulness is our response back. But in that liminal space is this incredible activity of God.
That's why she's the rector and preaches all the time. Because she comes up with these things like, what? Out of the thin air! That was well done.
Well, thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
I like that. Because I think, I tend to think, like, that's why I like that line. Because it's something that I think that it's enveloping me. It's around me. I can't, not that I want to escape it. Yeah, like my wrap. It's nice and warm and cozy around me. But it's where I am. I'm in the sky, really, because I mean anything like above the surface of the ground is now in the sky, but I'm grounded. I'm on the ground. So
and it's not an invisibility cloak. It's not something that just removes you or hides you. You're still very visible. You're still very present in the world.
Me not being visible,
but you're wrapped in. Right. You're wrapped in this idea of righteousness and faithfulness. It's a lovely image.
It is a lovely image. But it's still, we have to get our head around the fact that righteousness is not about pomp and circumstance and power.
Or being right.
Or being right. Okay, the root of the word, being right, being correct.
Well, we need to be in right relationship. Right? So what is right relationship again, rather than being right? Right? Maybe that's
I like that.
Maybe that's where we need to be thinking about what is righteousness. True righteousness is about being in right relationship with God and in right relationship with one another. Right? And in right relationship with ourselves.
I was just going to say, we've got to include ourselves in that.
We have to get ourselves in check.
Yeah.
Right?
Because if you can't be good to others if you're not good to yourself.
Absolutely.
Right?
Yeah.
I use that line a lot in my work. It's just like, if you can't be good to yourself, you can't understand self, then how can you help to understand others?
Absolutely.
Right? So living in this space where there's righteousness and faithfulness and love and peace, which is what the psalm is all about, that's a beautiful place.
It is.
That is a beautiful place.
It is. And we're going to be thinking about you in your beautiful place as we listen to this on Friday.
Yeah.
Right? Knowing that you're off romping through or on your way to the Galapagos Islands.
Yes, that'll be the day before.
So excited.
I will be zipped up on Ecuadorian coffee and some weird chocolate pastry, because that's what they do there, and probably exhausted from walking all over the place. And we will have stood on the equator. It's a thing.
That's how cool. I stood on the equator when we lived in, I guess it would have been South. And we did it in Uganda and in Guyana. So
there you go. See, gotta do it.
That's kind of cool.
I think it's
places
cool.
I lived, we lived right on the equator. And
That's
I do like the temperatures there. I have to tell you.
It's going to be such a culture shock. It's going to be from this to that. Anyway, it'll be fine.
It'll be fabulous. And we will all be thinking of you. We will be. We'll be thinking of you in those temperatures and romping about with your blue-footed boobies. My sister was there and bought back a shirt for my dad. I still have it in the cupboard, but it was a blue-footed booby.
Oh yeah, I've got to get.
He would giggle, right? He would just giggle.
And I want a picture of a tortoise the same age as my husband. It's a thing. Never mind.
Tortoise, this age of your husband will be just a sweet young thing.
I know. Well, not really, but we'll see. Selfie.
Oh my goodness. Well, blessings on your week. Thank you so much for gathering with us in our silliness.
Yes.
As we look at scripture, but find a way to lift it up and I hope to make it a little bit relevant to our what we encounter in our days today.
And accessible, because it's not scary. The book is thick, but it's not a scary book.
No, it's not.
Sometimes
it's challenging. Sometimes it's really, really chewy. Sometimes it's really sweet.
Like us! Yeah! Because we're the Pop-Tarts.
We are. Some days crispier than others.
Over toasted.
Sometimes stale.
No comment.
Always fruity.
Tangent!
Oh dear. Well, take care. God bless and bye-bye.